Chip here with the XRP minutes. What is going on? My favorite people in the universe. Not the universe, really. Let's not get that crazy. Let's just keep it inside of, let's say, the spectrum of, let's say, the first three planets, third rock from the sun. That would be Earth. That's us. And that's why I'd like to kind of keep this whole thing going. So there's a lot going on. It's not going to be a very long stream. I don't know, maybe an hour or two, but no, it won't be that long. But I want to unpack a couple things because I've heard a lot about this. I'm sure we've seen this all day long. And for weeks, we've heard all about this Ripple partnership. We're going to dig into this a little bit. There's some stuff going on with XRP that I want to get into in this thing called Silla. We're going to get a little bit deeper on that. I want to shout out the first person in here, and that was Jet Digital. Jet Digital, the second I went live, bam, was in the room. So thank you guys for showing up. And I shout some people out. Doc Callum is here. Connie, as always. Let's see who else is here. Threadwork Derek is here. Rodney Onwu, DDS, and who else? A bunch of people. Guys, tweet this out. Where is everybody tonight? What's everybody doing tonight? I'm sure they'll be popping in here. So let's go through some things. You guys have probably seen all this stuff that's going on out there. That I tweeted out first. Who tweeted it out first? Hey, what's going on, Bill Good? Bill Good is always chippy. What's going on? So I want to dive into a little bit of this. Before we get there, though, let's look at this here. Let's go in here. So this, I always love these headlines. I always like to feature a headline on the XRP Minute when we talk about Ripple, XRP. Now, this headline, I saw this and I'm like, wait, treated Ripple partner canceling agreement? Now, on its face, you'd be like, semi-heart attack. It's like anytime something trends on Twitter, you have Denzel Washington doing this, right? You see that about 40 times. Denzel Washington doing that because you see something trending and you're hoping, please, I hope they didn't just die. And you hear something like this, treated Ripple partner canceling agreement. What agreements? What are they doing, right? So, of course, you got to unpack it a little bit. You got to go down there. What's going on? Poops McGee, what's going on? Silla raises, a measly. Everyone's crapping their pants. No, well, we're gonna get into it, but I think, it is measly at this moment in time, but I think they're doing something, and they've got a hell of a track record. So these are early days. Poops McGee, Tina Hall, what's going on? So let's look into this. So SoftBank, if you guys have been following SoftBank, they've been having not only a bad year. If you look at 2019. Just absolutely destroyed, wrecked. You think you're wrecked with crypto? They've been wrecked. They had to take a $6 billion write-off with WeWork, right? So I start reading this, and I'm like, what's this all about? So if you see it says SoftBank, one of Ripple's most important partners in Japan, the most important, could not avoid being sued when it canceled a $9.6 billion deal because of the coronavirus. Institution that sued Ripple supporters SoftBank in partnership with MoneyTap and PayPal Line 1 WeWork, okay? This has absolutely nothing to do. So look, they're leading with the big Ripple logo, right? You start reading it a little bit more. So WeWork and SoftBank Group signed a $3 billion partnership last October. In fact, turned out to be that one of the partnerships was latter part of $9.6 billion deal. And the part that will pay this money in the agreement is known as SoftBank Group. So SoftBank, as I told you, they just had to they've been making investments left and right, and they've been hurt pretty bad. So he stated that the giant banking group suffered a serious loss of income due to the effects. So basically what's going on here, there's a kind of a dispute going on with these two right now. So what they end this with, it's a matter of curiosity how SoftBank, one of Ripple's biggest partners, is affected by this case. Oh, wow, that's different than the way they led it, which was treated Ripple partner canceling agreement. You got to really kind of look deeper in sometimes with some of these things because it gets a little bit scary and sketchy at times. What's up, Rick Der Farms? How are you? Good to see you in here. And when you start seeing this kind of stuff, Omar is in the room. Nice, he just popped right in. So you always have to look at this. Man, I'm thirsty already. And let's look at this a little bit deeper. So this is what we've seen, right? Is there any human on Earth? I think even people in across communities don't even are in XRP. So Stewart XRP, who is really good at doing some pretty good research. I had to look at this myself. Really look at the podcast this came from, and basically. It's somebody basically from Bank of America saying that we built partnerships the likes of Ripple or Swift. Now, I've seen a lot of people talking about this all day, right? Look, we've been hearing about Bank of America for ages. We saw the patents that they released, talking about leveraging the XRP ledger. So everyone's like, yeah. So one of the things that immediately struck me, when they say with the likes of Ripple or Swift, I mean, it's kind of like one time, I had I used to work with a drummer in one of my bands. And sorry, Brad Kimes. I mean, if we're going to tell drummer jokes like we did last week or 2 weeks ago, but, I asked him, he's also an attorney, and I said, how many offices do you have? And he's like, I have 2 or 3. And I'm like, I think you'd probably know the difference between 2 or 3. I can see you have 2 offices, or you have several offices, but how do you have 2 or 3? So he said he had 2 or 3 offices, and I wasn't sure if he knew about one of them. Maybe it was his home. I'm not exactly sure. But when I look at this, the likes of is like similar to, liking to, and I'm not saying they don't have a partnership. One of the things that I like is how they talk about that they've gone through the legal rigor of legal compliance, right? And are able to leverage the banking platform. Now, that's great that they're working with the likes of, hey, my company's working with the likes of Zoom, right? With the likes of Zoom. I mean, we use Zoom. We're canceling Zoom because of all the shenanigans going around with the Zoom dropping. And oh, wow, no one knew that it really wasn't end-to-end encrypted. Oh, and I guess they didn't tell anybody that the servers were sitting in China, but that's where you get really, really inexpensive bandwidth. That's what they were doing. What's up, Simon Bank Freely? Good to see you. And so when I started looking a little deeper at this, Bank of America touts partnership with Ripple and Swift. You start seeing all kinds of articles about this. See, this is what I wanted to highlight right here. Back in 2016, the 2 companies worked on a pilot together. Now, this is going back 4 years ago. Then the internet was flooded, if you guys remember. There was just everywhere. It's like, look at this job opening. Look at the job opening. So they're looking to hire a treasury product manager to lead the product management team for Ripple Project, a decentralized ledger tech-based solution to cross-border payments, right? So that was all over the place. And then Bank of America also joined a pilot at Swift last year to test the new service design companies a way to track their payments from a single source, right? Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but don't the banks own Swift? I mean, I don't know. I know that Swift's been touting that in 13 seconds and everything else, but the settlement wasn't happening. So if you remove the settlement, what do you really have? You have nothing, right? So you have really nothing. Let's go a little bit deeper here. So here is the actual part from the podcast at 1736. In the podcast is where they talk about it. I pulled the PDF. I wanted to read through it a little bit. And man, oh man, did my eyes gloss over. I'm not going to lie. I'm going through this thing and I'm thinking this looks just like my wife's MBA books that she's reading on the CPA. I mean, you only have to read 1 page and you're out, lights out. Now, it's interesting. There's a lot to take in. It's a lot easier for some of us to listen to the podcast, but sometimes I like to read through and just see what catches my eye. And there was just a lot going on with this whole article to begin with. So I wanted to talk about this because Forbes released a new billionaire list. And what's cool about this list is there are actually 4 crypto entrepreneurs, billionaires that are on there, a combined $8.7 billion worth. Now, years ago, this would have been like huge news, but we have 4 of them, right? So on Forbes' newly released billionaire list, Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos, of course, occupies this top spot with 113 billion. 113 billion. It's just not, it's a lot of money, right? Then Microsoft founder Bill Gates, fashion magnate Bernard Arnault, and American investor Warren Buffett, big names that we know. Now, 4 members of that cryptocurrency industry we were just talking about were also named on the list. Those included Bitmain's co-founders Macri Zhan and Jihu Mu, Ripple co-founder Chris Larsen, and Coinbase chief exec Brian Armstrong. So it's pretty cool. Also too, when you look at this, is you have San Francisco really highlighting. You got Coinbase and Ripple both in San Fran, both in California of the United States of America. What's going on, Anthony King? Hey, Ferdy's here. Yay. Now we can start the party. Should I back it up? No, we'll keep going. So when we look at this and start unpacking it, so if you look at it, their personal wealth is estimated to be 3.3 billion, 1.8 billion, and 2.6. So Larson is at 3.3. You got Brian Armstrong from Coinbase at 1.8 billion, and then you have Who else did I leave out? Oh no, I'm sorry. Okay. So then 1 billion respectively. That's Brian Armstrong. Kind of mixed up the numbers there. Consensus founder Joseph Lubin and Binance CEO CZ. I'll just call him Changpeng Zhao, CZ, better known as. Didn't show up on the list. You know why? Because CZ's been buying everything up in sight. He just bought CoinMarketCap, which seems to be a little bit of a conflict of interest in my book. And a lot of people are leaving CoinMarketCap just because of the way they look at stuff and transfers and calculate market cap. So I think there was a lot of that going on. What's up, Anna? Anna, by the way, catch up from last night. Did you watch any of The Walking Dead? I'll just throw it out there. I'll look for your response. So when we're looking at this and we're unpacking this thing, it's pretty interesting because now we're starting to see for crypto billionaires, as they would be called, are showing up on this amazing list. So here's something cool, caught my eye as well. This is interesting. So the Italian Red Cross builds a COVID-19 medical post with donated Bitcoins. Now, when you start seeing stuff of what happened in Italy, got inundated, just got hammered. So one of the things that I was reading was the reason Italy got so far out of control. There's just a number of underlying issues. This isn't doctor stuff. This is me regurgitating stuff that I've read. What's up, Danny Torres? She popped in. For example, if in Italy, they have an aging population. They have, out of all of Europe, or at least one of the leading countries that has 3 times the respiratory issues. I don't know if that has to do with smoking. I really don't know. But an aging population has a lot of underlying medical things. And then what was happening was you had the people feeling sick, going to the hospital, having the virus, not realizing they have it, infecting the hospital staff. Hospital staff goes home, and it turned into this giant ball. So really ground zero for the incubation really started being hospitals, but they didn't know. They didn't catch it fast enough before they knew it. It spread like crazy. And it's just horrible what's happened there. So the Italian Red Cross raised nearly $32,000 through crypto donations in less than a month. Roughly $22,000 has been used to finance the construction of the initiative's first advanced medical post in the town of Castel Gandolfo near Rome. And the funds were used. Let me see. I wanted to jump here. Yeah, Cointelegraph spoke to David Melganalo, CEO of HelperBit, the firm that set up the Red Cross crypto campaign, stated that the blood donation days will take place on a bi-weekly basis. So this is good. This is when you see the crypto community jumping out there, and they raised more than 4 Bitcoins, or 113% of its second funding target. So this is all good stuff. I'd like to see this. Red Cross deploys 2.9 Bitcoin, incurs only a 0.55 in fees. Well, I know something that's actually even cheaper than that, right? We know something. It's called XRP. Let's be honest. Can we talk about it? That's what we're here for. This is the XRP Minute, and we're going to jump into it. So here's some other stuff. Cardano. Now, Cardano's making some interesting moves. You see them partnering with South African Blockchain Alliance to boost adoption. What's that word we love to hear? We love adoption. Adoption. It's what we want to hear more than anything. Cardano Foundations looks forward to strengthening South Africans' blockchain awareness. So South Africa is a key market for African blockchain awareness. Cardano cites the South African market as pivotal to building a network across the country that's made up of government institutions and companies that currently use the technology. So in their announcement, they put Cardano believes in empowering individuals and enterprises by putting them in direct contact of their information, wealth, and value. Blockchain technology lets developing nations break ties with legacy banking systems. Whoa, did we hear banking systems? Costly middlemen and entrenched political structures. Now, just tonight, we're going to talk about this, but in this video, we're going to look at this. It's interesting how you're starting to see, remember, it was XRP and then it was XLM, the different tokens out there were trying to solve the problem of moving money, right? Moving fiat, moving currency, cross-border payments. Now it's like everywhere you look, is this just me, or have you noticed too that everyone's in on the game? Everyone's got doing this, and and everything's built on the Ethereum blockchain, and the Ethereum blockchain now, everybody's moving towards this way. It's kind of weird. It's kind of like, I don't know, maybe I'm more sensitive to seeing that, but it seems to me like I'm seeing more and more. This viral for life. Hey, what's up? How are you? Ray Santos Crypto. He makes videos too. I'll have to check him out. Maybe I do. I subscribe to so many. Yeah, Ferdy, you're right on about that. So Ferdy said disruption brings adoption. Disruption brings adoption. That is so well said. And it is disrupting marketplaces. And the old ideas go away. But the last people to know are the people still holding those old ideas true to form. So I like the fact that we're starting to see some more stuff happen. Innovation reduces network load, improves throughput. There's a lot of cool stuff going on here. I don't want to get into this whole article. A lot of stuff is blockchain-powered immuno-oncology company Meiteon claims anti-malarial drug called artemisinin. Man, what is that? Can't they just make these easy? I'm just going to call it ART for short. Derived from Asian medicine, can help fight COVID-19. So immediately what caught my eye was this blockchain power, right? So Meiteon, they announced recently, discovered in its directorial antiviral screening program that an anti-malarial drug, this is hydrochloroquine, which is also anti-malaria. They said that it's highly potent in inhibiting the ability of the COVID-19 causing virus, SARS-CoV-2, to multiply while at the same time keeping an excellent safety index. So they said there's other drugs getting attention in the media, such as chloroquine, hydrochloroquine, and remdesivir, if I said that right. Hopefully it needs to go through some months of well-controlled sufficiency. So what I like about, what I've said from day one when this pandemic, just, when the zombie apocalypse is started, and it started with the virus, next thing you know, there's walkers everywhere. We're all going a little bit crazy. But on a serious note, when we look at this and start unpacking it, we have to look at a couple things. And I think the first thing we want to look at is we got the smartest brains on the planet. These are the people that figure stuff out. And then, it's one thing to have a launch date. You're a brand new startup, you got to launch. Hey, we got to launch. What's our target date? Oh, we'll make it September. September 1st comes and goes. Well, we'll make it October. This is like everyone on deck right now. Let's make it happen. And when this thing hit, you got the brightest minds on the planet everywhere. Companies jumping in, borrowing stuff, sending stuff. I mean, it's just literally every stuff. What's up, E. Snowden? Clara, yeah, Clara. I was going to call you Clara, but I call B. Clara, you're an OG if you know Clara from the old days. For delicious, she says. And when you start looking at what happens, that's why I think everything's going to be limited. Another thing, too, that I found out in the presser yesterday from the press conference given, Dr. Birx, who's been one of the doctors on top of this whole thing, basically said that other countries, as well as the U.S., are putting down COVID-19 as death, even though the person came in underlying heart issues, something else happened. They're just putting everything under COVID ID. So that could have a sort of a variance on the number. So I think when this all shakes out, we'll have to go back and look at it. The good news is what I've seen, Norway is opening back up. Norway is looking, I think, at targeted date. Petroleum-rich Norway, looking like April 27th. They're going to start opening schools. They were smart. They closed everything off immediately. They started social distancing. They were on top of it. So they're looking at opening up, and I love it because it's good to see that kind of boldness saying, hey, I think we're going to start reopening up on April 27th. And then when I look at the U.S., when we're going to open up, what I was, I guess, encouraged by was the fact that the numbers have changed, right? Originally, the modelers that were modeling numbers and trying to do predictions and death counts was put it at 2.2 million on the deaths. That gradually started going down. Today, I heard they've been revised to 60,000. Now, the models were put together if we did nothing, right? Even worldwide, if we didn't do anything. Now you see that the U.S. is behind Italy. Norway's coming out of it sooner because they reacted sooner. South Korea also was very quick acting. They also ignored the World Health Organization. They said, "What the hell? We don't care. Our citizens are gonna wear masks." They used chloroquine and zinc together as a powerful agent for not having to intubate patients and doing the right thing. So it was really interesting and fascinating to see. Now you've got the UK. The UK is a little bit further behind the spectrum, even behind the US. And so each country will have its own path. But listen, we're all one world, and we're fighting this together. And we all probably at some point will know somebody or know someone who knows somebody that passed away from this or got gravely ill. So this is no joke, right? I wanted to, who's in here? Is Matt in here? Matt? Anthony King's in here. Sister-in-law tested positive for it today. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Anthony. All she had was a fever, and it should be an end of it. It's been about 2 weeks. Oh, okay, that's good. So we'll, be sending positive vibes her way for sure. So China-centric, yeah. The World Health Organization, well, one of the things that I had seen early on was that when I went back and started looking through their timeline, they put out a tweet January 14th saying that it was not, the COVID ID was not transmitted human to human. Uh-oh, that's kind of a big buddy. Hey, what's up, Roy? Roy just popped in. You know, when you look at something like that, but I say, like, forget about what's happening. We're one world. We got to get through this together. We got to be neighbors helping neighbors. You know, what we can do, how we can help people. You have people on the front lines risking their lives. And, you know, we're all in this together, really are. And we've got to get through it. Like I said, like Anthony King, his sister-in-law tested positive. We're starting to know people. You know, if you guys know Kickboy Triple, he had said on the roundtable the other night that someone he used to work with, a friend, passed away. He found out one day that, you know, and these are people that we know or at least know of, and it's sad what's happening. So I just say, look, I'm encouraged by anything where I see people that are making moves and doing stuff. And this is one of the things they did differently this time, is that they went ahead and they released this for research. They started a lot of countries started letting loose of all the standards they have and trials, just trying to get the best minds out there to produce something really quick. So I want to talk a little bit about Silla. So somebody popped in really early, talked about a little bit about Silla. And if you guys know anything about this, they raised a 7.7 seed round to wipe out ACH. So you have somebody else in the space looking to get rid of this dreadful ACH, which is just horrible. It takes days to go through. Not a fun experience at all. So this is what they're sort of focusing on. This is what Silla's up to. And people say, well, somebody popped in here early and said, well, 7.7 million seed. But a seed round is just the early part of it. One of the things that way back in, so Karko, he's one of the co-founders. Shamil Karko is one of the original fintech entrepreneurs. He's basically coming back. He basically sold his startup. Back then it was called Simple, and it was basically BBVA bought that for 117 million back in 2014. So he built that fintech, and so now he's back with Silla. So what is Silla exactly? Let's look at it a little bit. Let's unpack it. So Simple was really one of the first online banks that was really just simple. It was easy to set up, thus the word simple. But I remember looking at it. I think I went through, filled out some of the stuff. I might have even had an account. I don't recall. But the name stuck with me because I said, what a brilliant name. I think it was simple.com. You know, maybe they're still out there. I don't even know. I mean, I wonder if I should pop over here. Let's see if they're out there. Simple, if they're still around. Are they still around? They are, yeah. So this is it right here. So this is another browser window here. So banking and budgeting made simple, master your money. But this was it too. And I also remember liking the really digging their logo. And if you think about it, it almost looks like a blockchain startup, right? That little chain stuff going on there. So this is it. It was real simple. You put money in your account. We help you divvy things up. You spend with certainty. So they kept it as simple. But BBD bought this for a couple pennies, $117 million. But again, something really easy. You could plan. Now that I think about it, I did have this app on my phone. So anyway, so you have a real experienced fintech guy who comes back and says, I think I want to play in the blockchain space, right? So he became frustrated through handling incredible bureaucracy that comes with working within a large 150-year-old banking institution. Guys, stop me. Where have we heard this before, right? People are all jumping on this payment system, trying to solve problems. So he said that you could integrate into the sandbox in a couple of weeks. It only takes you a couple of years to get through the risk compliance, legal, and everything else internal. So he headed back on his own in late 2017 to explore where fintech was headed next. He eventually connected with 3 co-founders. ACH continues to power much of the US-based financial payments, but it's slow, takes days to process, still built on ideas that were fleshed out decades ago, right? What's up, Wen Mullet? Good to see you popping in. So yeah, it's old and antiquated, but then again, so they announced today they have 7.7 million seed fund, and their key product is an API for identity verification. Tell me more. Empowers developers to identify their users and then use that information in the company's API. So what they've really built is that he had talked about the compliance and all the other garbage that went along with it. Now an API allows anybody to go ahead and plug and play into something, and developing something, just sort of a, what is the actual definition API? Applied API definition. I forget what this API definition is, even though I use them all the time. So it's creation of applications, the structure. Anyway, it stands for something. What in the... application programming interface. Yeah, so that's the interface that allows people to sort of jump in, be able to relate. Now, one of the things that I thought really of 2019 was one of the most important things was the API that was released for interfacing with the with Ledger, the Interledger, and this was something that was announced through Spring. And I always thought this was huge too, because instead of writing 400 lines of code, you basically could do it in a subset. So that's one of the things that they did. So on top of the foundational infrastructure, Silla's Ethereum basis allows for automatic creation of smart contracts, which should allow for more rapid deployment of financial applications. Cargo sees a greater movement to online banking services given the outbreak of the coronavirus underway in the world right now. So Cochrane Adrona sees a huge opportunity for better payment solutions. See, everyone's in the payment space all of a sudden. Given her former experience as CFO of King Digital, blah, 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 behind Candy Crush, la, 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 la. One key aspect of Silla's pricing model that might be attractive to certain customers is the company, its fixed flat rate pricing for all transactions, which right there they have a leg up, which we're going to go look at the website in a little bit and take a look at that. Phoenix Starborn, what's up? Retracted a message. I don't know what he said, but it was something in there. I don't know what's up there. So let's go look at this. So here's the Silla webpage. Silla Money is what it is. Interesting that, it's interesting if you were picking out a URL and you had to use Silla, Silla.io, Silla.whatever, Silla.something, right? A lot of the newer tech companies are being built on IOs these days. We have onthechain.io. But all the newer tech companies, I guess last 4 to 6 years, it's been sort of a trend. It's really interesting to me that when they were choosing their URL, they chose Silla Money, because the definition of money and blockchain seem kind of like on opposite sides. I understand currency, but the word money. So it's interesting they chose that. Banking, digital wallet, and ACH payments API for software teams. So this is if you want to go ahead and integrate this product, okay? Here's the co-founder talking about it a little bit. And so one of the other things I found interesting is that, when you see stablecoins usually pegged 1-to-1 with the US dollar or whatever, it doesn't have to be US, but whatever stablecoin is, it's pegged 1-to-1 with something. The Silla is pegged 1-to-1 with a penny. A penny. That's right. A penny. So it's kind of weird. Like penny has a use case all of a sudden because it's 1-to-1 and it's a stable. It really is a stable coin. A penny is a coin, right? So that's one of the things that they have. So you get running in 10 lines of code. That's it. It's what's fascinating. So here you go. You can see, the KYC stuff. Now, very similar to what Spring did, they also allowed this to be released in JavaScript, Python, Go, Java, C#, and .NET, the most popular programming languages out there. Now, if it's JavaScript and Java. So Java, most institutional websites run on Java. Or Java, they use somebody used some use case for JavaScript. These are the most important ones that are out there. So here's what it is. You move money effortlessly inside your app. The idea behind this whole thing is that you can plug it into your app and you have all of the power of Silla in the background, but you don't have to deal with it. So again, like setting up what we know as KYC, right? AML, create and identify users. You can do the compliance with the US KYC right in your app. So you're not actually processing that. Silla's processing that. Now, suppose you're somebody that does a lot of payments. You don't want to have to deal with setting up the whole infrastructure. That would be somebody more institutional side. It's more of like a B2B sort of an application where you'd want to go and fund this. So you can connect the bank accounts. Over 9,600 financial institutions. This basically makes an end-to-end encrypted connection. You basically log in with your bank account. They don't know your bank account, but it makes this, you've seen this inside of all kinds of banking apps. You can do bank-to-bank digital wallet transfers, and you can move money automatically. So they say automatic ACH and ERC20 stablecoin. Yeah, this is an ERC20 token. And it basically leverages Ethereum smart contracts, which I kind of like. I've always been a big fan of the smart contract. Now, they say that they're the only U.S. regulated payments and banking API that uses a built-in stablecoin called Silla to move money between user accounts. Now, that may be true. They may be the only one. Currently available, now, because when I first read this, wait a minute, the only regulated payments banking API, but look what they're threading together. Banking API with a built-in stablecoin called Silla. And this is how they move money back and forth between the accounts. currently. Silla's an ERC20 token pegged to one. So it's pegged to 1 penny, US penny. Several benefits, including programmable money via solidarity-based smart contracts, fiat to crypto on-ramps, blockchain, anchored transactional. What's up, Michael Mayhem? What's up? So that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Michael, it's an interesting thing. It doesn't make a lot of sense, probably from a business to consumer. But you got to imagine that the applications for this, really, I don't see this being consumer driven at all. I see it more of a B2B sort of a play, right? So, here's Fabrica, the easiest way to close real estate transactions, Vertibase. These are businesses leveraging this, being able to move stuff. Now, guys, you're going to get a kick out of this, right? Pricing so good, we put it on our homepage, all right? So what kind of pricing does it look like? Bam, that's what it looks like. So basically, you're a startup, you want to get started on the platform. It's basically, it doesn't cost you anything a month. Your platform fee there's nothing there. So every time you do an ID verification, they're going to charge you $2. A business ID verification, $3. ACH debit is 0.2% or $4, depending on what it is. But then let's look at this. Launch. Fixed transaction fees for growing businesses. Now, you're a business, does a lot of massive stuff. It'll be a very different thing, but it's all fixed, right? So it starts at $5,000 a month. Clever, $4,999. It's like buying a car, $4,999, right? So this is really kind of what's sort of different. This one kind of confuses me here, where it says includes one bank account per user. I'm guessing if you want, so your whatever your regular bank is, and then if you really start going in at scale, but again, they're low fixed fees when you compare by comparison the regular standard ACH. Now, one of the things, here's your ACH credit, 10 cents, versus 20, so they cut that in half. But again, you're doubling your monthly fee. Almost look at it like a subscription, right? So here's some fine print. Monthly price is calculated on a 30-day minimum, blah, blah, blah. Insufficient funds or transaction fees plus 0.2. One-time application fee. So to process your application, they're going to take $1,000. So one of the things I started looking at, let's jump back up to the top here. Let's look at what I was trying to find out on the product itself was, it's not what I wanted. I didn't want the demo here. Well, I didn't really want to do the demo. But one of the things that they talk about, what I was trying to discover was like, how fast is this, okay? So you're basically eliminating all the stuff if you wanted to be somebody offering with ACH type payments. But again, one of the things I had the hardest time trying to figure out is like, well, how fast does this happen? When does it happen? There's nothing on here. It tells me, and I was like digging through this even before we started streaming tonight. I'm like, well, where is it, man? I don't see anything in here, right? where, baby Chip? What the hell? Did I lose something? Did I miss something, Anna? Something? I don't know. Yeah. So there's XRP, DT, World Health, Trump. They got it very wrong. Very wrong. Little Chip Meet Little Rain. How about that in that stream? Oh, okay. All right. So anyway, I couldn't find anywhere in here. I'm thinking that first thing you'd probably want to know about the product itself is to know exactly, how long does this take to process? I couldn't find it anywhere. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't exist, people. I'm just saying I don't see anywhere in here where it tells me how fast the transaction happens. I know they were complaining early days about it, but I don't see anything on the time. I don't know. Let's put in time here. We see anything with time? Let's see what the schedule looks like. Let's look at it. Monday through funds leave on Monday, funds leave the other bank on a Tuesday morning. The funds are processed by 5:45 on Wednesday. So basically, so Monday morning. Let's get this right. Monday morning, they leave the other bank on Tuesday morning. Then the funds are available. Now let me see. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's 2 days, right? 2 days. ERC20 token. Ethereum smart contract, and now basically 2 days. Now look at all this mumbo jumbo. Tuesday, the funds leave the other bank on Wednesday morning. The funds arrive by 5:45 the following day. Silla tokens are issued at that time. So you basically get a Silla token. Again, I don't know what you do to go back and forth with the other sort of a 59.6 hours. Doc nails it, right? Doc does the math. She's like, I'm not playing. I'm going to do the math right now. I'll just do it in my head. 59.6 hours. Yeah, it's almost immediate, isn't it? It's like almost instantaneous. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, so okay, yeah. So let's look at this. ACH, so the holiday calendar is a little bit different. So every other federal highway. So but again, this is if you want to bypass. Now there's an institutional use case for this by you leveraging this API and being able to be compliant. So all the stuff you can offload to Silla and have them do. Now I don't see, if you're going to reinvent and disrupt the space, you probably want to get better on time. But again, they're using ACH. It's just that they've taken a lot of the complication out. So if I can now go to my app and send something, that's a plus, right? So again, they're starting to, and here are all the different languages that you can basically set up for. I like what they're doing because, again, the whole space is going to get disrupted. Is it something, I first saw, is this really on par with XRP? No, it's not even on par at all. It's a whole different entirely use case. But again, if you're a big business and you're moving lots of money and you have customers, you don't want to deal with all the headaches of that. They've already done all the compliance stuff. So they're compliant. You use their stuff, you're compliant. You don't have to worry about doing KYC, AML. So there's a huge time savings and it's all been done. You're using their app. So you plug this into your app. Now you have all of these benefits, right? And it's pretty simple to set up. Yeah, so here we go. What else do we find here? So I don't know if you guys heard of Quibi. I want to hear if you guys have anything to say about Quibi. I don't know if it's Quibi. I don't know how you say it. But you guys have heard me complain long enough. Now this is what's really funny about this thing is that what they've basically done is they've created original content done in 10-minute chunks, okay? So, because man, ain't got no time for that. Who has time for that, right? So what they've done is that their whole idea behind this platform is that, let's say you're going to watch a movie. Instead of watching the entire movie and binge watching the movie, or you want to see a movie, let's say you want to see Tiger King. I've watched it in 2 sittings. I'm still not through the Tiger King yet. I'm like, started out real fun and exciting, and it started getting really downtrodden towards the end. No spoilers, but I was like, it started getting less and less fun as time went on, and I'm like, wow, what a bunch of nut jobs. I mean, you couldn't write something like that. Even Breaking Bad was pretty mild based on, compared to Tiger King, right? So you look at this platform. So an hour and a half movie will be basically broken into 10-minute chunks. It's written in 10-minute chunks. So today I open it up, I watch 10 minutes. Tomorrow I open it up and the next 10 minutes available. Now, I haven't actually gone into this. Michael D says, okay, sign me up. Well, right now they have I think they have free, 90 days, I believe they have. So here's the other thing that's interesting too. Now, it always just drives me crazy when someone puts a video and it's done like this, and it's a vertical video you got to put up with watching. Meanwhile, we're watching stuff on our phone in a horizontal format. Even if we're watching it like this, it's horizontal. Now, if you flip it this way, yeah, you'll see it horizontal. Now, what they've done, because they're trying to, instead of you can't fix stupid, they're going to that, that generation of snappers out there with the Snapchats and saying, hey, we've modified the movie. In other words, we scroll all this stuff that's out here to fit in this screen. So if you look at it like this, the action that's happening is right in the center, and it's actually been customized for that. And if you flip it this way, you see it the way it's intended to. But, let's face it. I don't think my daughter knows how to watch anything this way because, she's just Snapchatting all the time, right? But I wanted to hear any feedback on this Quibi. I think I want to just sign up for it, just kind of see what it is. I think they're doing so they got 1.75 billion in capital. They're creating all this stuff. I know Chrissy's Court is one of the things. They restarted Punked was another thing that they started. They have a Liam Hemsworth thriller called The Most Dangerous Game. But they felt like they'd be better on a bigger screen with more traditional running time. Again, but they're trying something new. They're trying to capitalize on, hey, I might have 20 minutes and a commute. Let's say I'm taking, not these days, we're not commuting anywhere, right? We're stuck in our houses. But suppose you're going somewhere, you're like, hey, man, I can watch, I got 10 minutes and I can watch it, and you would look forward the next day. So it's a little bit different than what we're accustomed to, but I kind of like where they're going with this. Wanted to find out if anything had anything with that. What's up, GeoXRP? How you doing? Anyway, Quibi looks interesting. I believe, let's go take a look at the platform itself. Look at Quibi. So there you go. So let's look here. Original shows. There's the Liam Hemsworth thing. I was hoping they'd have something. Yeah, it doesn't matter how you hold the phone, right? That was the whole thing. So if you're looking at it like this, you see how they capitalize in the action? This is how I'm watching it. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm watching it like this. But hey, I mean, because look at all you're missing, and this is why we don't need to be teaching people this. But hey, maybe that's comfortable holding your phone, and they basically put everything to fit in your screen. This movie looks interesting. This whole Survive thing looks pretty good and interesting. But I believe I believe they're doing some kind of a special now where it's 90 days are free, and then it starts at $5 a month. So it's pretty reasonable. $4.99. I'm not shilling this. There's no link down below where you can get Quibi, but I'm just checking it out. I think it's interesting. I was hoping to hear from you guys. If you guys knew anything about the Quibi, the Quibbers, the Quibsty. Yeah, so when Mullet's asking how much it costs, so it's $4.99, but you get a 90-day free trial, so you can probably just watch a bunch of stuff right off the bat. And I think they originally were looking at $30, but that's how they onboard stuff. They get you using the product. You're going to spend $5 a month. Apple's $5 a month. You start jumping into more expensive things, like you get into the Amazon's movies, whatever name is escaping me at the moment, or Netflix, you're paying more money. But you have stuff like Quibi and for $5, and Apple, which is kind of cool. And because we're dealing with this whole thing, I saw Stadia. Google Stadia is like it's a free gaming. It's not a free gaming. It's a gaming platform. What they're doing is they're offering a 2-month trial for Pro Tier. So they're now giving free to anyone with the Gmail account. Company announced today, assuming you've got a compatible device. Now, I've read a lot of news about Stadia, a lot of fanfare out there, but it hasn't really produced. It hasn't really gone crazy with the numbers I think they were really looking at. So I can only say that the numbers they were originally looking for, it's hard. You put something together. There's a lot of competition for eyeballs out there now, man. Everyone has a product. Everyone's got a cryptocurrency that's in the payment space. Everything is nuts right now, right? Pandemic is roaring. Help out your neighbors, man. Saw my neighbor today. He's an older gentleman, and he was wearing his mask. And man, it's just to see him like that. My dog went crazy because he didn't recognize him because he had the mask on. My dog loves him, but my dog can't go up to him anymore. It's like one of these weird things. Like, you got to keep distance, and these neighbor kids around the corner, they love my dog, and he's they call him the target dog because that's how they know him. And if you're older, you'll know him as Spuds McKenzie, but they call him the target dog, and they want to go pet him. And they're like, "Can we pet him?" And the other day I had to tell him, I was like, guys, normally I'd be cool, but not now. It's just not a good idea to be doing this right now. You know what I mean? Crypto and coffee. What's up, man? What's up, Nick? How are you, man? So it's just now is not the best time to be doing this kind of stuff, that I can tell you. I really think that as time goes on, we'll kind of look back and see. But look, this is where we find out what our metal is. What are we made of? Who are we going to be as humans? Are we going to be people that help each other? Are we going to try to, make sure that someone's down, we can lend that helping hand? Because that's how I see the universe. I see us as people who want to make a difference out there, right? Want to do something nice. Not everyone's nice. What the hell? You've been on Twitter, right? Twitter's crazy. Twitter's like Trollville and everything else. I don't block people on Twitter because I am a fan of free speech. Now, if you start threatening me or my family, yeah, I do that. But, typically speaking, I won't do that because I believe in free speech, and believe me, I get trolled just like anybody else does, or, look, difference of opinion. But for the most part in the XRP community, I find that the XRP community is great. There's a lot of other communities too. The VeChain community is another really cool community of people. And, you see a lot of crossover between, the VeChainers and a lot of crossover people holding VeChain and, XRP. The Bitcoin crowd, they're a little bit different. You know what I mean? They're elitist. They're a bit different. They were first. We're first. We're first. We own the world. We can tell everybody else what to do. I just feel so sad that it's a store of value, but guys, give up the whole idea of being a payment rail. Bitcoin is not going to be a payment rail. You'll be able to buy stuff with Bitcoin. Yeah, you're not going to go into a coffee shop and buy it. You're going to have to use the XRP, the ledger to move stuff fast. But I like the stuff we reviewed today. I like what's going on with companies and fintech companies disrupting the space. Fintech been around for about good 10, 12 years right now. The finance tech space, and you see now even ACH is being disrupted. Now, are they going to replace it? Chances are they could, because nobody's want to have to deal with all that compliance stuff, right? That's what I see, for the grand thing. So HM on Jeff's stat. What is that? What am I missing here? What's up? Jeff is finally in here. What's up, Jeff? How are you doing today, man? I'm just, yeah, good. I'm glad you showed up. Now I'm canceling. Kind of like last night when you and Nick were streaming. Man, I was trying to cut through all this different stuff, and by the time I got through it all, it was like, hey, it's over, right? It's in a heartbeat. It was like that, and it's over. Look, I'm getting the alert on my phone. So what happens? I don't know how this thing got set on my phone, but it's like bedtime reminder. Your wake-up alarm is set for blank, right? And I get this little thing that sounds like a little bling, 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 whatever that means. I don't know. It's like it's a little nursery rhyme, I believe, right? I don't know what it is exactly. But what's up? What's going on out there? One more hour. Yeah, one more hour, we can get it done. That's right. Who's down with OTC? Yeah, another thing I want to talk about, guys, on the chain. Let's go here. Hang on a second. We'll get there together. We will get there together. Let's put this back over here. I want to go back over here. So on the chain.io, you're going to see some big changes here. So I'll tell you one of the big changes that we're working on right now is we're going to be offering a monthly newsletter. We're not going to ping you every 20 seconds, but here's what our vision is. We are going to start creating exclusive content. Now, I know what you're thinking out there. You're like, whoa, exclusive content. I know what that means, but you would be so wrong. You would be so wrong. It doesn't mean that at all. It's not, you're not going to be paying for the free content. The deal is you want to be subscribed. You want to be subscribed to the content because we're going to be putting stuff out there and there's no cost. For example, if you look right down below right now in the description, you'll notice that that's our Telegram group. Telegram. So right now it's a growing thing. And again, what's the cost? Free, F-R-E-E, right? So we'll be putting out this original content. We'll be highlighting stuff that we think is interesting. The creators on the channel, look, the channel's growing, guys. We just rolled out the Profit with Nick Black, okay? Super excited about the show. Really cool. We did a nice kickoff on Sunday night. A lot of you guys were around here Sunday night for the roundtable. And I just want to give a rundown on our shows. I know the website needs to be updated. We will get to it, but I wanted to talk a little bit about the shows. So tomorrow night, I believe we're doing, Jeff, tell me if I'm wrong. What's up, Crypto Eddie? How you doing? So tomorrow night, yeah, newsletter. Yep, absolutely, like Maddie and Pomtu, right? And Camilla Russo, who I'm trying to get on the show, and I think she's one of the smartest women right now in DeFi, without a doubt. She has an amazing newsletter called The Defiant, which is, I love it, man. I think her writing is spectacular, and I'm really into it. But anyway, we're trying to get her as a guest on the show. And if you know her, hey, send her a message. Say, hey, okay, man, come on, go with Chip and Jeff. Let's go on the roundtable. So one of the things we're doing, Crypto Eddie's a content contributor. We got a lot of content contributors here on the chain. But our vision is we're going to create some original stuff for you. Maybe a 5, 6, 7 minute video. The reason we want to do this is because we want to grow a bunch of like-minded people. We want to give out stuff. And, some of the stuff gets lost in the shuffle. If you get it, the other thing we're toying with is, London Real basically set a giant FU to the YT. I'm not going to say it. Let's not get into that whole thing. Because one of his largest interviews ever, second largest one on the channel, was censored because they didn't agree with what somebody's opinion was. Again, so we got to be careful of the censorship stuff. We're going to be moving more and more decentralized platforms. We're not quite yet there. There's a bunch of them competing out there. I think Library, the one we're on as well, is probably one of the best ones out there. And it's great because it automatically connects and moves all of our YouTube videos there. Once we upload it to YouTube, it automatically goes over there. It's a whole new audience, decentralized. They're probably one of the best, or I would say closest and more akin to YouTube, which I think is fantastic. RTB, what's up? It's free because Chip is a closet socialist. Well, that was fun reading there. Roy, you are something else. $1.99 bomb. Thank you, my friend. Well, it turns out you can't even spell cuz right. I mean, got to catch up. Now my contracts are on hold. I have time. Thanks for your patience. I'm not sure did I miss that one? Eddie, I don't know what that was about. There was something going on there. What is Jeff saying? Bam, there we go. Guess what? We're waiving the $4.99 fee at first. I don't know every subscriber. Yeah, there's no $4.99 fee, $3.99 fee. But, hell, if you want to throw a bone every once in a while, well, we're cool with that. I mean, we're okay. Not really. The reason it's free is you're going to become somebody who's going to be in tune with what we're doing. But we're trying to build this community, people that share ideas, right? You see something, again, with our Telegram group, you see something cool. It's like, hey, check this out. People are like, hey, check this out. And that's what we're trying to create, right? It's more community because YouTube's one part of it. Twitter's another part, but let's try bringing them together. The other thing we're toying with is I'd like to know what your comments are. Put them down below. And I say put them below because it'll be impossible to go back and review this. But I want to ask a question. What do you guys think about mobile alerts? Now, I'm not saying let's say you wanted a mobile alert. Let's say when on the chain, either on this channel or the other channel streaming, would you like to get a mobile alert that says, boom, hey, Chip's streaming right now, or the How to Review streaming, or One-on-One with Jerry Hall, or The Prophet is streaming, or Deep Dive. Would you like to get an alert? I'm curious. We're toying with the idea, but man, the when you're doing live streams or videos in general, they're just broken. You don't get the alerts, and Jeff was getting us alerts for stuff that he was doing the stream. It was on his phone, and then he would get an alert 48 hours later. He goes, "Yeah, I just got the alert, YouTube alert for the stream that I did 48 hours ago." So it's kind of a weird thing. I'm just curious what you guys think about that. Let me look. Jet Digital says hashtag down with OTC. Doc Callum says charge after XRP moons and everybody will have money to pay. Yeah, there you go. So we're going to do a delayed payment. Yeah, we'll leverage. Yeah, well, that sounds interesting. Who's down with mobile alerts? Let's see. Kelly Slay, what do you say? What say you, Wen Mullet? Tina, what's your thing? Listen to Chip while I ran out. Got my Chinese food from my neighborhood Chinese restaurant. Good for you. Good for you. La 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 la. Just pack it with ads. Sarcastic humor. Crypto Eddie put one of the best tweets out last week, and I loved it because she said, I just watched the content creator from the community, and I think it was like 9 ads from start to finish, and she says, like, where's the line? And I'm like, I don't know, 10? And it was discussing this topic with Jungle, and Jungle's like, hey, everybody knows that for every 2 minutes of content, you have to have an ad. Of course, he was being facetious and funny, but I was like, wait a minute, 9 ads? I've seen the obligatory one, the middle one, but when I go to creators pages and I'm first starting a video and there's that first video, man, I let it run. You know why? Because that's how I tell the content creator when something's posted. Now, Roy RTB Dutchie just gave us a payment, right? Which was cool. Like, I mean, a super chat. He got to say something. Super chat. He gave us a $1.99. Super appreciative. But here's the thing: when you upload a video and it replays, why doesn't YouTube make that available? You saw us, like Crypto Eddie put an awesome video out. Bam! I want to say something cool about it. Rain put one out. Jeff and Nick were streaming last night on an Ask Me Anything. Boom! You can hit them on a live stream. But what about this? I don't know if you guys saw the interview that Jerry Hall did today. But it was really cool. And it's like, what if you wanted to just say, hey, I really like that, and just give whatever, $1 or something, There's no mechanism to do that. So that's one of the things that we look at is like, hey, you're on a creator site, not ours. You like somebody? Just listen to one of the ads play. That's, by the way, I mean, if you guys think like, oh, you're content creators getting rich off of ads. It's, it's even embarrassing to even show you this, but it's really low. What's up, DNI? Guys, I want to know, Digital Nomad Investor, Jeff, you guys streaming on the deep dive tomorrow night? Because if you are, I'll advertise it right here, right now, I'll do it. I'll give a big shout out to you guys. Because I know that you guys haven't been live for the last 2 weeks, but I want to make sure that it's going to happen. And so, yeah, for example, you're watching DNI. Now, suppose you're on one of his 4-hour streams and you're like, hey, man, you run out, you do a bunch of errands, you drive around because there's really no place you can go these days. You come back, you do housework for 2 hours and you come back on and boom, he's still streaming. But what about the videos he uploads? It'd be nice to kind of just let one of the ads play, right? And again, it's up to you, but I'm just saying it is. And then, you can collect your 0.022.8 cents, whatever it is, something ridiculous, right? But I wanted to talk about this site growing. Nick's not on here yet. We're going to be breaking it down into some shows, but here's what I wanted you to do. I want to look at the updates here. Right now, we've been aggregating. People have been signing up here pretty steadily. Just put your name and your email in there. We haven't sent one out yet, so don't worry about getting spam. We're not spammers. We hate spam. We don't like getting banged with stuff over the head. If you notice, we don't put 9 ads into our content. We want to send something useful. So what we'll start doing is a monthly. We'll start on a monthly newsletter, put some cool stuff in there that we think, some cool takes, maybe a private video that is original. So that's what we're going to start doing, this monthly newsletter. And it could become more frequent, and we're going to let some of the stuff bounce off you guys, and you let us know how you think, if you like that or not. Yeah, absolutely. DNI is perfect to do housework. Yeah, that's one of the things that and he's on your time zone. Well, what I like to, Eddie, is I like to go to bed watching, DNI, and then if I wake up a little bit early, Then he's still on there. I'm like, what the hell? Did he start a new stream? And chances are he didn't. Be good to have some big name YouTubers move to Cinnamon, try and start the domino effect. Yeah, you know what? I got to be honest with you. I've kind of, if I want to give my honest opinion about Cinnamon, and I will do it here, I think that sometimes getting a product out for the sake of getting a product out, when they released about a month and a half ago, all of the proceeds, now if you had a guess, they've been up for almost a year now, and streaming micropayments, how many content creators, how much money did they pay content creators? They published it. It was on their blog. How much do you think that was? Go ahead, take a guess. You can put it down below. But so yeah, they announced that number. I thought it was kind of weird. I wouldn't have announced the number because I was shocked by the number. And I mean, obviously millions and millions of payments because you're streaming payments, right? Big fan of Coil. We started looking at putting, we have Cinnamon up here. We don't really have a lot up there at the moment, but I want to tell you, if you guys want to go to our Coil, big believers in Coil. Coil is actually really cool. You can see all of our after shows. We did one with Brad Kimes. We have one here from Lee from SPQR. If you go to onthechain.io, this was fun. Now these tend to be a little bit more silly. When I say silly is that, we kind of get into the person, like, what do you like to do? And we get into some fun topics. But again, we have a lot of, this is original content. It doesn't air, it's not on the YouTube channel. So here's one we did with Nick Black. There was another one we did, so we did back to back. Then Jerry's also publishing content up there. This was the Petro, the Venezuelan shite coin right there. This guy was jailed for Bitcoin mining. It's a true story. Really cool. Curtis Wang, we did one with him. We did an after show. It was a short one, but again, it was more, really wasn't blockchain related. Rain and Crypto Mike. Tom Kuster and Sincerely George, lots of cool stuff. The Michelle O'Connor from Uphold, a lot of cool stuff up here. Here's Nick from Nickel and Dime. You guys know him. He's also a big Coil guy. We had Tony on. Tony was awesome to have on, along with our very own Jerry Hall. Coining 203, Patty B, just a whole bunch. There he is, DNI. By the way, DNI, we're going to release, I think this week, maybe tomorrow, the next day. We did one with DNI and Crypto Oz, and for some reason it never got released. So I think we're going to release it. We'll tag you DNI, but it was a fun time. We did one mixed side. This is Contentos, or I should say Cost.tv is one of the decentralized platforms that we're also on. DM Logic, look at this. So I wanted to call your attention to this because sometimes you don't get to see it. Sergeant Obi-Wan, Rob Cash, Free Coiner. I mean, just a lot of different stuff. This is all original content that we're putting up there. So I wanted to have you sort of like, get an idea what that is. And we're putting more and more podcasts up there. So we're just growing that platform as well. And, as you know, Crypto Eddie's done a bunch of stuff. And Rob Cash, Crypto Oz we've had on. Ego is doing some content. So that's kind of what we're doing. You're going to see this grow. But if you will, just pop on over here on the very bottom. Sign up for these. When we get going, you'll start receiving some original content. It's going to be fun stuff. I will promise you that. And so what up, Kelly? GXRP. What's going on, G? For some reason, man, I keep missing your live streams, and I am sorry about that. But I know you're doing a live stream, and I was like, it's like right at the weirdest time. I'm going to go do something. Tina Hall, the big $4.99. Tina Hall. She didn't even put a message or anything. It was just like $4.99. Thank you so much. That is so awesome. You can at least put a message in there or something, like one of those little dancing stickers, like, one of those sort of things. 2020 is the year. Yeah, Tina Hall. Thank you so much. I always appreciate that, guys. Moonshot 2020 is in here as well. Moonshot. And when moon, we always say when moon, guys, sooner than you think. We're in it for the long haul. 2020 is going to be a good year. Look, we're all dealing with this weirdness of being sheltered inside, and I don't know. I kind of like working from home in a weird kind of a weird way, but because we're using video for everything. So I'm like, you call someone on video, you put 3-4 my colleagues on video, and then we're there. Hey, thank you RTB, thank you for popping in, thank you for your contribution to OTC. I know you're down with OTC. Tina Hall, down. You guys are all down with OTC. I saw the hashtags. Don't be afraid to just hashtag it one day. Like, hey, what am I doing? Yeah, I'm down with OTC. Bam, you can do that. Everyone's cool with that. Market's getting some love. Green, my favorite color. Green. Oh, so Danny's really enjoying the quarantine. Yeah, it's so much fun. It's just, it's just fantastic. Yeah, so anyways, guys, we went an hour. I was hoping to do 35, 40 minutes, but I just got on a roll, man. I don't feel like we get to hang out as much anymore. But Wednesday nights, 9:30-ish, maybe 10-ish, we'll be doing this. We'll be going live. Tomorrow night, we have Deep Dive with Digital Nomad Investor and the HODL review. And that's Jeff, as you know. They'll be doing it at 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock Eastern time right here, unless I hear otherwise. Make sure everyone signs up for that newsletter. Link is in the description. Go ahead and pop over there and sign up for that. And yes, you have that feeling. You know, Gio has a feeling that you can rap. Anybody can rap. Now, the idea is it good or not, right? You know, is it good? You know, it's not bad. It's not bad. But it's not great. But at one of these times, I'll have to do it. I'll embarrass myself. I'll do it. We'll do it. That's what we'll do. We'll do it. But come on back here. Sunday nights is the roundtable, as you know. Jerry Hall is going to be premiering a new video on Saturday morning. Not sure who it is quite yet, but he's been madman doing these interviews. The interviews, you're always going to have a good takeaway from that. And of course, The Profit with Nick Black is our newest show. And obviously, you know, Kickboy Triple did the open for that, and it's pretty fun and cool. That's my take. What's yours? Chip? Oh.